Alrighty, hello, welcome back to the stream. Hope you all are doing well. Happy Saturday the 25th. Hope you all are doing well. Sorry it's late. Just kind of trying to get my head back on my shoulders. Just not a good evening. But we're pushing past it. Just going to go forward and get this stream out of the way. So what do we got going on here? Well, we're back up here in North Anson. I'm sorry, we're up here in Farming. God damn it, Flagstaff. If I can get that out. It's about 13:22 in game. I did waste a little time. I had to assemble some trains. So I might rewind the time just a skosh, just to kind of keep everything coherent. So it was about, depending on where we are, because sorting this Saturday after about 12:42 in game when I last left off. So I'm gonna just rewind that a little bit. That's fine by me right there. So I don't want to waste too much time. So what we're doing is we're gonna get the Kingfield turn kind of all situated after we move these wood chip cars back here over. So we're gonna go ahead and go grab those and just move them over onto this track here. And then we're gonna get the Kingfield turn essentially built appropriately to how it's supposed to be. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So I mentioned last night before I got off exactly how that Kingfield turn is built, and we're building it exactly to how it is said. So when we run the local on Tuesday stream, we'll be able to run it appropriately, so you guys get a better understanding of like actually how it works. But we do have some trains that are expected to head through. We have F-KBLM, which is stopping along the way from Megantic. Or I'm sorry, stopping along the way from North Anson on its journey to Megantic, and it's going to drop some cars to the rear, drop its helpers, and then continue on. My beacon's not on again. There we go. Much better. So it has a handful of cars that are going to be getting dropped. I'm not exactly sure what is at the rear of the train, other than it's two helpers that'll be dropped off here, because it's the end of essentially the helper district. There's kind of one large grade to get over, and that's kind of that would be the hill going up into Chain of Ponds, but it's really kind of the last major obstacle to negotiate that most trains are able to do it. It's about a 1.8, I think it is, and then just about all the trains that head through here can negotiate. And if a helper needs to continue on to go help them get over that grade, they can. But predominantly the helpers do cut off here, and this is where they end their line of service. For the hell of it, I know we only had these two pairs of Jeeps in the yard. I'm going to say that there's a couple of Jeeps out working locals right now. They will be coming back soonish. I'll get those populated in soon, because I'm trying to figure out exactly how do I populate the yard with more Jeeps other than just plopping them in. And we could say that they're bringing in other locals that we are not going to be working yet, and maybe haven't switched out entirely. So we're just clearing out the last of the local yard. We're just going to slap these right here on this track, so when KBLM comes in, we can just go ahead and throw that cut of cars on the rear end. The cars that will be getting dropped in here will be brought in by the helpers. Thrown into the arrival track, the helpers will break off, go over to the helper track, and then we'll just throw these cars on the rear, and we will call it a day. We do have the 2 trains. We have a trash train coming up, the loaded return to the north for interchange with CP. And then we have this train that'll be coming in behind it. And then whatever CP we'll be having coming down, CP should be bringing us in another train that'll be heading back south. I think that's the track I want right here. Nope, this is the track I want. It's right when we kind of come out of the corner. So as I head into the helper track itself. I wonder if anyone's ever ran these things at diesel fuel in game. I don't think I've ever actually accomplished that of running a locomotive at a fuel. I mean, I wonder how often does actually a diesel locomotive gas up? Or like, is the actual like script for fuel consumption actually like put into game? Kind of curious about that. Like, I've never actually thought about these things. Like, do the engines actually consume more diesel when I have them in notch 8 versus just normal? That's a lot more brake than I wanted. It'll work. Yeah, that's something I've always kind of thought about, but I've never actually had that question answered. Alright, so looking at it here. So we need to pull out those trash gons and then the Jordan Lumber Company cars first. So we got a pair of gondolas that are empty right here. Those are going to be first, and then it's going to be these 2 center beams that'll be next. So let's go ahead and start working on that while we wait for these trains to head north. I did actually fix it to where the trash train is coming from Farmington. I'm just saying that it had to go around for an issue up on the Nordica originally, so it would have gone through North Anson and then around, or I'm sorry, for an issue on the Farmington secondary, so it would have taken the Nordica into Farmington. So actually when I start coming down the Kennebec sub. I don't even know if you could really call it a sub because it's so short. I mean, we call the secondary the secondary. The Nordica's not much longer. In theory, it could even be just called the Kennebec Division because this. I don't even know. I don't even know what you call it. The Kennebec Corridor. It's such a vital lifeline. It's to our. One of our bigger transfer points with CSX. It's the link between the Nordica, the Abenaki, the gateway to northern Maine, and as well as the Skowhegan situated along that line. So the Kennebec is actually quite an important subdivision, along with the Bigelow. Run out of sand before? Yeah, I mean I've run out of sand myself because I know like that actually kind of churns around. But I've never actually run out of diesel fuel. So I'm not entirely sure how that works. If it actually does consume things. Alright, so we gotta pull these out. So essentially what we're gonna do right now, it's gonna be a lot of just kind of shoving cars around. Yeah, because we got to kind of start assembling this train. and probably how I'm going to work it. Actually, we should probably start building it from the back first and then come forward. So the rear end is actually going to be the... actually, funny enough, this tank car. So this tank car is going to get plucked off, set aside, reattached to the other gondolas. So these two covered ones. And then we just can push back. So I think that's how we're going to build it, 'cause it wouldn't make sense to do it the other way around. So we got to pluck off this tank car. So let's go ahead and open up the switch here. I mean, in theory, we could even use the track beside it for now. Thinking on around I feel it would take. Yeah, it's like, you know, I'm curious you know, how much. I suppose I could look at the passenger train, 'cause it's gone like 300 miles in game. So I could take a look at the passenger train and see like how much fuel it's used to see like if it actually is burning fuel. So let me actually do that real quick. Just real quick, because I am very curious. Yeah, it really hasn't consumed any fuel, and this has been, it's ran 253 miles, so I don't actually know how fuel consumption works in game. So, not a clue. Not a clue. Alright, so we're just going to disconnect him real quick. Brakes got a little sticky there. Either that or argon is heavy. I have no clue. Oh, you ass. Alright, so we're going to push that just a little beyond the switch. There we go. Alright, now we'll hook back up to the consist. Shouldn't be too hard of a move. Once we hook up to that, we can then start kind of moving things around a little bit more. We'll then kind of throw this into the siding, and then we'll just go from there. See what we need to kind of lose and grab, and so on and so forth. So, because after these two, it's going to be New England Wire, then Valley Gas and Oil. So we'll have to kind of go in and see. Oh, I'm way far back than I need to be. And clear that switch. And then Valley Gas and Oil, so it's shouldn't be too hard. There shouldn't be too many major moves. It's just more or less kind of flipping this train around. So this video is, or this stream is kind of giving you an idea, like I said, how to block the train, and the documentation will help you block the movement based off of, you know, the industry tags. So Nice and gentle. Beautiful. Oh, rough handling my ass. Alright. So, we're gonna grab this. Predominantly loaded cars that are heading up to Kingfield. What are you doing, Toby? See the other kitty hanging outside the door. I'm sad, these things had some nice track sounds. Just not hearing them. So I will have to kind of keep an eye on the map and just kind of see where our other trains are, because they're both programmed to come up here and sit before they get cleared into the yard. Because one, they both have to make a drop of sorts. Though the train, I believe, will be too long. Both will have to enter the yard. Both trains will have to enter the yard. Of course, one at a time. I mean, both are going to arrive on, or pull into the arrival track, even though KBLM is going to be departing on the arrival track. Now, not every Megantic movement is going to be working the yard. There are just some straight shot Megantic movements that don't need to stop here. At least how I have it imaged, because you don't need every train that's heading north to stop, because then it just kind of defeats the purpose of the main line, except for Pineliner service. So there will be some trains that just pass by. I don't know if that's something Mal reflected. No, not really, because like I said, funny enough, there's a Megantic to Flagstaff, a Megantic to Quebec, or Kennebec, which works Flagstaff, which to me doesn't make sense. Then you have Flagstaff to Lac Megantic, Kennebec to Megantic, and then that works Flagstaff as well. And that's kind of, I think, in Mal's eyes, like, or at least how it was scheduled, like the Flagstaff run, which is its own dedicated train, just based off of how many cars come up here. Because, I mean, I don't think Mal at first realized how important Flagstaff Yard was, or all that went on here, which is kind of slowly becoming apparent. I know me and him were talking, like, he has to redo his track chart for this yard. Which I told him, like, hey, you know, don't mess with it too much, because, like, or, you know, like, don't redo the yard at all itself, because, like, I like the, and he likes the yard too, like, he doesn't want to mess with it, because, like, it's visually a nice yard. And I told him, like, the tracks just all make sense. Like, we just have to work with what we have. And I think with what we have right here, it'll all work fine. Like, I have no problems with this yard whatsoever. Like, I think it fits exactly what we need. Alright, once we get the, let me me see. Where are the boxcars for New England Wire? Perfect, right at the end. So what we'll be able to do is just re-grab this consist and then smack the New England Wire cars here, pull it back out, and then drop. And already one of these Valley Gas and Oil cars is right where it needs to be, which actually, if we just make one extra movement, and drop this center beam, which, let me hold on a second. So we're going to pull forward. We're going to drop one tank car. We're then going to back up, drop a center beam. Oh, helps my brakes off. We're going to drop the center beam on this track right here. This just extra track. It's probably like extra track 1. Re-pick up this tanker because it's going to go New England Wire. Howdy, Odin. So it's going to go the Argon tanker, the gondolas, New England Wire, Valley Gas and Oil. So let's go ahead and drop the tanker. So we're just trying to get this assembled as quickly as we can without wasting as much time because, you know, again, the crews in North Anson just dropped the, the train got built on the hump, which there will be a hump yard eventually. The crews just sent the cars over the hump and it got built the way it got built, and so now we're just kind of sorting it back out. Yeah, they could have probably blocked the train for us down there or had it assembled better, but it is what it is. So that's for that third track. Alright, we're going to kick the car. Run away! Be free! I threw that switch, right? I did, because I'm a genius. We can slowly creep forward. Whew, that handbrake is good. So yeah, I'm just looking at the documentation sheet and just getting an idea, like I said, of what Mal has typed in and how the local will be ran. So in case you're wondering, when I'm looking at something and where I'm pulling all this information from, it's on a separate document that you can't see because I'm only streaming a specific screen. Alright. Grab this. Schmack. Beautiful. Alright, we're going to reverse. And we're going to grab the rest of the consist and grab the 2 boxcars at the front, hook on, reverse, and then we can start building it, at least in the classification track. Or whatever this would be. Bastard. Come on. There we go. And forward we go. Wait, 9 people watching? No shit. I don't think I've had that many people watch ever. Huh. I have a small little audience. Nice. At 3 in the morning. So the cars we're about to attach to, that will be the eventual front of the local. Which before we get up tonight, I'll kind of show you, because the next stream we do, which at this point will be Tuesday. Because tomorrow when I wake up to go to work, I'm not going to be going to bed pretty much. I mean, to clarify, I do get about an hour of sleep in between my two shifts because I get off at midnight. I come home. By the time I get here, eat, settle down, get into bed, and fall asleep, because the falling asleep part's usually the tough part, because I gotta overthink the world. Um, by the time I actually get to sleep and get a sound sleep, it's usually about an hour, because I gotta wake back up and go to work, be out the door no later than 6, work until 3, and then by that point I'm just dragging. But it's like, the NASCAR race is gonna be on, so I want to go watch the NASCAR race. My dad wants to do a little game night, so I'll get home about 8. I'll fall asleep probably about 10. So, and then Monday I work a double, 9 a.m. to midnight, same garage. So Tuesday at this point, which is already looking like a busy day, I will try to stream, and when I do, we will run the Kingfield turn, which by then we will have the next couple of locals coming back in and dropping their consists, which I don't know if we're going to come into the arrival track or if they're just going to drop them in the local track. Probably just go ahead and drop them in the local track. Oh, it's Toby, and he's being a cat. Oh, I got that belly. I got that belly. Yes, I do. Oh. Oh, it's a man being a man. Oh, chubba, 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 chubba. Oh, it's a man. Oh, we are speeding. Sorry, my cat is being a cat, and he wanted attention. We're not speeding, but again, the speed limit hasn't changed, so... Yeah, so KNW, that's New England Wire. So we'll go ahead and slap those on to the rear end of, the front end of KAU. And then we can start working. And after KAU, it's going to be KVG, which is all the way back there, which the rest of these cars we're going to shove past KVG, because I don't want to get this center beam stuck at one end with another center beam at the other. So we're going to shove past it up the ladder. We'll be fouling some switches, but it'll be fine. We're the only one working the yard right now, so no big worries. So I am going to go ahead and quickly and just check on my respective, howdy Gamer Boy. I'm going to check on my respective trains real quick just to see where they're at. Just via map mode. So they're going to be off to the south. So one's coming up the secondary, one's coming up so there's this train which just went around Horseshit Curve. And then these two trains are all set. Oh yeah, they're just in the siding. So he's going to go Kingfield Main North, Carrabassett Main North, Stratton Siding North. So he is out of here. Chugging away. And we're going to check back in with our local here, because I don't want you guys seeing what trains are on those yet. Though you heard a chug, so you can already kind of get an idea of what might be up front. Alright, so we'll throw these cars onto the rear end of here. And we'll keep moving along as the two manifests start heading this way. So since the Flagstaff train already ran up here and has left, predominantly speaking, that's a once a daily, once a day move. So it being 1 p.m. We should have enough cars to make another outbound for tomorrow once we get cars kind of moving around. Beautiful. Oh, wait, wrong way. Wrong way. Not what I wanted to do. Awesome. Alright, reverse. The horn usage has been a little lower than normal, so... Alright, so it's going to be these two cars here, and like I said, after that we got Valley Gas and Oil, so we got those 4 tankers there. So from these 2 cars here, we got to push, we're just going to shove them way up the ladder. And I'm not even going to worry about it. Start hitting the brakes. Slow. Please stop. No. Okay, so we're just going to do more brakes. There we go. More brakes are always great. Man, we shoved back quite a ways. Jesus. It's a pretty long train. Considering this is actually pretty much the full consist minus a car for the Kingfield turn. So after Valley Gas and Oil, it's going to be, let's see here, PSH and PSB. So it'll actually be these pull and spring box cars, which actually, so yeah, once we do Valley Gas and Oil, we can grab these 2 box cars. And then I believe it'll be those 2 box cars, which sucks because they're split apart. So this train wasn't blocked terribly well coming up. Shame on the guy who did that. Pretty simple move we have here. Darvir Rathod says I have to agree. That was bad. I'm gonna stop talking. Speaking of bad, apparently a couple EF5 twisters ripped up through Mississippi tonight, up in Alabama. Apparently, we were watching them on radar tonight, and they were just ripping through towns. Big tornado outbreak down in Mississippi tonight. hopefully everyone's okay down there, but I expect to hear about a pretty notable loss of life. I mean, that's EF5s are pretty terrible. I mean, that's quote unquote the strongest. It's top of the scale, so. So if one of those trains is on Horseshit Curve and one of those trains left North New Portland, they're not due up here for a while. They'll probably be shown up here within the next hour or so. So probably by the end of this live stream, we'll be starting to see those other trains show up. Not that far north of it myself, wasn't pretty. Yeah, I know Oklahoma got some of it too earlier on today. And then, of course, the storms obviously marched eastward. But, yeah, I mean, I know the last I had heard, of course, you know, I was going to download the app. I forget what it was called. It's in my DMs with Logan. LTG. Radar Omega, which is a fantastic app, especially if you are into weather. Logan, when Sean were showing it me tonight, like, it's pretty damn cool. You can actually watch some of these Storm Chasers feeds live as they're driving along. It's actually pretty cool. But point being is we were watching it there, and we were just watching the radar signatures just churn across the landscape down in Mississippi. Kind of like the Greenwood area. No, it's north of Tupelo. These fucking switches. I really need to update these to where I don't have to back up so damn far. Kind of dumb how Trains does it like that anyways. It should be just default add 0. But that's just my humble opinion. So probably what I'll do, because after this it's the Poland Spring bottle boxcars, is I'll go ahead and grab the 2 from the back here, throw them on, grab the rest of the consist, bring it, throw the other 2 on, and then we'll go from there. So I think after that it's going to be the Mafka cars, which will be KMT and KMB. So basically reverse of what you see now. So it should be the tankers on first, then the boxcar, or the briefer. Although technically speaking, I wonder if it actually matters at this point because they're both right there anyways, but that is entirely just me. Me just being the lazy SOB that I am. Push. Heave. So Radioscope, damn good app. Pulls raw doppler data, pulls in the map. Measure distance. Only downside, you can only pull from one. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how Radar Omega works. I'm not sure if it was pulling from multiple radars. We did discover like radar blind spots tonight, like we're in areas where the tornado was technically too far away from a radar tower, so it was hard for it to kind of pick it up, and also like the debris ball was kind of blocking out like the tornado itself, so you couldn't really see the tornado because of how far away it was, and because the debris ball was canceling out the tornado's like signature on radar. So like now you already know that's like how effed the tornado was. And then like yeah, you can doodle on it and stuff like that, and you can pull from multiple sources and stuff like that, and look at different layers. You can also draw a line out and type in how fast that storm is moving, and it'll give you an idea of like how long before that particular dot that you drew on. So like let's just say the tornado is moving at 50 miles an hour and you draw it from, you know, where I lived, Portland. It'll tell you how long before it hits my town, how long it hits the next town. It also tells you how many people live in that area. Roughly like what the population is of that area that the tornadoes or the particular weather cell you're looking at is going to hit. So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. You know, particularly in my area where I live now, I don't really need something like that. I mean, I could definitely use it maybe for like just looking at the weather in general and getting a better idea of what the weather is doing and, you know, what's where and so on and so forth. But I don't really need stuff like that because I'm not in a very weather severe area.
Oh, hello, sir. Oh, being a man still. Very good choice.
Oh. What a cat. What a cat. Alright. So we got back like 39 feet back from the switch. Alright, we're a good 4 miles away now. We can go forward. Chipper, chipper, chippers. Oh. Now, if we get this done and the trains still aren't here, I'll probably just go ahead and run one of those trains up. Wherever they're at, I'll just cancel the AI and just run it myself. Because I think we don't have much to do. Because we're pretty much almost done blocking this train to how it needs to be. And the Sappy North America run doesn't really need to be blocked. Because again, they got their own yard. Oh, beautiful. Alright. Once again, heave. I've had some good viewership tonight. I'm actually kind of happy about that. I don't normally get a ton of viewership, but I'll take it tonight. I'm happy with that. Always happy to have more views. More people enjoying the content, more people enjoying the channel. I obviously have noticed anything relating to the Carrabassett generally gets a lot more views than, per se, the Caldvon. Caldvon is usually pretty slow, and obviously my operating streams, they also get quite a bit more views than anything else. So once we're done, we'll take this consist and we'll throw it on this track over here. We're going to pull it that way and push it forward. Or I suppose we could roll it through the yard and then drag it this way. So after these, I believe it'll be Jordan Lumber. Yep, Jordan Lumber, then the gondolas, and we'll be all set. Ah, shoulder blades are killing. Really need to start working out a lot more, because I'm getting very little physical exercise. I can already hear Emily yelling at me. Shame we don't really talk anymore, but it is what it is. And if we never do, well, that is also is what it is, so... Gotta retag these for interchange with CP up in Loch Megantic. Although, hold on. Actually, I think I know where these are heading. Yeah, I know where those are heading. Those are heading for Megantic, but they're heading for an industry up there. Which, we'll actually tag that real quick. MUW. Just before I forget, because I am going to forget here in a few minutes. Because I meant to do that. MUW. That is not in capitals. Moo. But the French way of spelling it. This is for Montebois FL. They are a wood company that is in need of some hoppers. Or, well, wood chip gonds, more or less. And I was just going to send those up, CP back up in toward Jackman, but those are actually going to stay kind of on the route, so... I really need to stop drinking so much Pepsi. Yeah, so those will have to Montebois FL. They're in need of some center beams as well. I don't know if we have any center beams coming up to there right now. Probably gonna need to start sending some empties north here pretty soon. Probably get those from Farmington shortly. I don't know if I stuck any empties on the rear of this Megantic train. Although we have two sets of helpers coming up. I just thought about it. We're gonna have quite a few helpers sitting in this yard shortly. Alright, so now it's going to be KMT and KMB, which, like I said, sucks because now we just got to flip these around, and I want to stay true to how it's supposed to be blocked, so gotta do as it says. Which is so annoying because I could just say, screw it, we'll just, it's going to the same place anyways, but no, the yard master wants it blocked exactly the way it is on paper, so we're going to block it exactly the way it is on paper. So if anything happens, they can sit there and say, oh, well, we did everything exactly how you wanted it to be done. That's why it took longer. That's why we weren't able to get other things done. That's one thing I've learned at work, when they want you to do something, when you don't think outside the box, okay? doing it exactly the way you want me to do it. So that way when it blows up in your face, well, I did exactly what you wanted me to do. Well, you know, you really should have. No, no, no. You told me you wanted it done exactly the way it said to do it, so I did it. There's no thinking involved. Oh no, we lost a viewer. We're down to 7. No! Cancel the stream. Oh, it's a man. Toby. Ah, you got the toy. So yeah, not too many more movements, so just be, once we pick up that reefer, throw it on, we'll push the Gons up, take 2 center beams, throw them on, throw the Gons, and that's pretty much the whole movement. So I think we will have time to run a, mainline freight. Oh, we got 2 viewers back. Stream is no longer canceled. Oh, please coast, please coast, please coast. And just please. Beautiful. Alright, reefer, center beams, Gons, done. Actually didn't take as much time as I thought. Which leads me to wonder, where are my trains? So actually they're going to be right on each other's heels, no crap. So they are down in Kingfield. I'm gonna assume, yeah, so that's the KBLM. And this is FSLM. Or, well, technically speaking, it's I don't even know what it is at this point. That is G-FALM1 daily trash load. So there should be another one coming through later on. There'll be another run of empties heading south. Those are coming up from Boston, New York, all that stuff heading north. I guess how it's been figured out by us is it's going to be some sort of government contract to rid trash, and Canada picked it up, or some Canadian company picked it up. Not sure how taking stuff across the border works, especially when it comes to international trash, because I know how we handle international trash at the airport. Even if it was from Canada, it had to be emptied into a special bin, which was just a regular old trash can, but it was locked in a special area. The trash had to be documented, especially you know, who was throwing it in, when, how many bags, so on and so forth. And then at some point, a company would come along, and we call them, to pick up the international trash, and it had to be, oh, I'm bleeding, hello. guess hit something. Obviously, if I'm bleeding. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, just gonna ignore that. It'll stop eventually. But yeah, so we have to call a company to come pick up the international trash, and they take it to be incinerated. It has to be incinerated. And if any, like, liquid spills out of it or anything like that, it has to be cleaned in a specific manner. Otherwise, we could be fined. It's very stupid regulations, especially because Canada is right there. You know, it's like Maine. We are practically Canada. But that's how international trash has to be handled. Can't just throw it away in a regular can just like anything else, so... Oh boy. So I'm not exactly sure how this international trash is handled, considering we're hauling a ton of gons up. Or a ton of trash containers, but, you know, I'm sure the U.S. government would have something worked out in that case. And maybe they already do. I have no clue. I have no clue how this works. You know, maybe I should, considering I have a railroad that I'm building along the border that actually crosses the border. Alright, gons go forward. This actually didn't take too long, so that's taken about an hour. Everything seems to take about an hour on this railroad. Or, well, I think it took 2 hours for the other stuff, so... Oh, so also funny story, I suppose. So Sean and I were talking last night about the SD24 and how it's a nice locomotive, but it's a garbage tier locomotive because of all the problems with the wiring it had and first generation turbo and all that stuff. So it's in some aspects a really crappy engine until it receives some rewiring, because we have some SD24-2s on our railroad roster, and they're our oldest locomotives that we have hanging around, maybe besides the F7s or the F units, which are probably about the same age. But the so we were talking about that with Sean last night, or I was talking about that with Sean last night, and so today at therapy, my therapist was going on and talking about this form of therapy she wants to try with me, called EMDR. Now, of course, don't ask me what it stands for, because I'm going to forget off the top of my head, because I have never heard of it. I was looking to do DBT therapy. Oh, come on. Oh, you ass. Which, of course, I always get it wrong. DBT therapy stands for dialectal behavior therapy, which I don't know why I used to get that wrong. But EMDR therapy is called eye movement desensitization, and oh god, I cut off the end. Can I get the last word, please? And reprocessing. There we go. So it's basically a mental health treatment technique. The method involves moving your eyes a specific way while you process traumatic memories. EMDR's goal is to help you heal from trauma and other distressing life experiences, which I think that's something my sister did, if I recall correctly, because like the more I heard, talked about it, I'm like, wait, that sounds like something my sister did, which I want to talk to her today, but I never got a call back from her. But so my therapist was explaining how it works, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, because she was talking about how when you sleep, your eyes move very quickly, and so on and so forth, and it basically processes your thoughts or your experiences from the day, and so on and so forth, into short-term memories, core memories, stuff like that. And there's just a problem with your wiring that you have to fix. Your wiring's bad. And my internal thought was, oh, like an SD24, but it became external. And I just blurted out loud to my therapist, I'm like, oh yeah, like an SD24. And she goes, like a what? I go, well, that was supposed to be internal. So I had to explain to her what an SD24 was, and she's looking at me, and I'm like, me and my buddy Sean were talking about it, so I explained to her why it came up, and so on and so forth, and she just kind of laughed. She's like, I have never heard that comparison before, and maybe I ought to look up what an SD24 is after work. I said, or after this, said I would recommend not, because now you're going to start getting targeted ads for like model trains or some sort of train simulator, or maybe jointed rail, or hell, even Amtrak. So maybe don't. Oh, lordy. But I found it funny. I'm like, yeah, that was supposed to be an internal thought, and it just wasn't. Ooh, we got some... if I could speak English. Got some weight to move. Jesus. Alright, and our last move, and that'll be it for this, well, before we drag it into the locals track. Alrighty, and last but not least, make sure this isn't bad for something else. No, okay. Knowing me, I would have tagged to go somewhere else, and now I'm throwing it on the Kingfield turn. Alright, and we shove forward, and this will be the last move for building the local. So this only took about an hour. So albeit we are missing a few cars for a quote-unquote full Kingfield turn. And not every Kingfield turn is going to be full. You're not servicing every single car on every single industry every single time. You know, I definitely am trying to give you more of the full experience of what the Kingfield turn would look like. So we are kind of hitting... Actually, what am I doing? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull this out this way. We should have enough room. Oh, yeah, we got more than enough room. And then we're going to push back onto this track right here. So... And of course, we'll go ahead and look more in depth at the Kingfield turn here in a minute once we get it situated over where it needs to be. So I wasn't actually sure how long this was going to take, because I've never done this before. I've never blocked out the train exactly how the document has wanted me to. I've always just run the local just as is. You know, however I get the cars, that's how I run it. The last time I ran this local, it took me forever because I had cars kind of scattered all over the place. So hopefully this way will be a lot easier. Hopefully we'll be able just to make it work and so on and so forth. You know, it'll just won't be such a long process, and we can work it relatively quickly and just be done with it. And I think there are still cars down there that we'll have to grab. You know, because I think what it was I run the Kingfield turn on one save, and it's probably going to be says the King turn when I save it. And then when I reloaded in, it's everything derailed, and I was pissed off. So I just, you know, loaded up another loaded up another session, and just started messing with that. Sit back here on this Argon tanker. But I think when I plopped in to kind of populate the local, I think I popped the cars that I would have dropped off in the other session in this one. I'll double check just to make sure, because again, it's been a while. I don't know exactly what's down there, even though I've been by this 1,000 times. I've been by Kingfield 1,000 times in the last, you know, probably a couple hours, just trying to get trains set up and figured out where the heck they all are. Come on. There you go. Oh, that crossing wasn't even gone. Huh. Start throwing on the brake here in a minute. There. So that is that movement, and like I said, so you have Carrabassett transfer station in the team track, which there could be an assortment of cars that get brought over to the team track. Predominantly, it's used mostly for Sugarloaf Ski Resort. They're really the only ones that kind of use that team track, and it might be a new ski lift coming in. It could be appliances. It could be an assortment of things coming up there. Snow removal equipment, new pickup trucks. Their method of transit is the railroad to deliver stuff to the ski resort. But there's always trash cons going up there to bring to the transfer station because it's how people dispose of their trash up there. Next up is Jordan Lumber. Always at least 2 center beams going up there. Now this usually has one extra car kind of attached to it. So it goes KMH, KMB, KMT. Now KMH is hopper. So it'd be a hopper, some kind, like a 5-bay or a 4-bay. Then you have the reefer, which usually is only they only have a spot for one. They get about 4 per week, so you could bring up a couple because the track is long enough. You have 2 tanks that go up. Then you have Poland Spring Bottle, which they have spots for, or well, technically it's PSB and PSH. PSB is Poland Spring Boxcar, and PSH is Poland Spring Hopper. You bring up some plastic or hoppers with plastic pellets so they can make their plastic bottles for bottling water. They got about 6 spots for boxcars. They do about 4 per day and do about 12 in a week. So we're actually on the low end. The band is kind of a little low just because they're not churning out as much as they used to. So, but it would go PSB and then PSH. So back here you'd have your hoppers. which kind of glad we don't, because this is actually kind of approaching its max limit. Next we have KVG, which is Valley Gas and Oil. They take about 4 tank cars, and they'll do about, they have spots for 4, and they do about 2 per day, and they'll do 10 in a week. So, and that's usually during the busy season. During the summertime, you don't throw a lot of tank cars up there just because they're not churning in the demand they used to. Next is New England Wire. KNW is the code. They have 3 spots. They take 3 high cube boxcars, but I like to mix and match. And they do about 15 cars per week. So you're kind of always churning out KNW. Then last but not least is Arc Enterprises. Mal has it set to 62-foot bulkheads. I bring up 52-foot gons with steel coils. Then of course you have the Argon tanker, which they'll do about. They have 2 spots. They do about half a car a day, 4 bulkheads, or in this case gons a week. And then the Argon tanker, 1 spot. They use about half of it, and they get 3 per week because they're always welding shit. So that's kind of how this works. That's how this local is assembled. Like I said, we're missing a few kind of car sets, but that's how this local works. Now for the trains, where are they? Oh, he is slow. Why is he so slow? And why are you going through the station? Oh, that's crazy. Why are you going through the station, buddy? That's crazy. Where's the other train? He's actually going pretty quick. But you are not, and that is not okay with me. Huh. I gotta change that to where I'm gonna put some track markers down to where it goes around the station and not through. But I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and manually drive this train. So say hello to KBLM. So we're just gonna go ahead and manually take over. And I'm just going to run it up to 45 because that's the speed limit through here. But you got an ST70, you got an M630W, and you got an ST60 pushed by 2 ST50Ms in the rear. So we're going to throw this train into Notch 8, and we're going to get it out of here. Oh, we are wheel slipping. That's beautiful. Chugga, chugga, chugga. So that there is the transfer station for Carrabassett Valleys. Should have some, no we don't. I'll plop some in there. I think I forgot to do that. But there should have been 2 Gons already in there because I did service that when I ran the local on my own. Which also, I'm going to save. I just did all that work, and I'd hate for it to go away. You mind showing the ski resorts, or just out of view? So I don't actually have that built yet. I will show it to you real quick, just up in the background. But that is the ski resort back here. You can kind of see how it's supposed to be situated, and I will be modeling it because it is so prominent on the side of this mountain. But yeah, you can kind of see it's a bit of a mess. The actual ski village is right here. does provide a great view. I've been there a couple times. I'm not skiing though, but been up in there. And yeah, I think it's what's happening is the trains are ducking into the station siding, which I don't know if it's speed limited or what it is, but they're ducking into the siding to take the shortest way around the corner, which somehow is slowing it down to 15. So I need to set it to where it actually stays around the corner and doesn't slow down. I don't know why it's slowing down, and I feel like it has something to do with the signals that are being used. But I put in a speed limiter or speed limit marker again, just that way it just speeds up. But I'm just gonna set him to drive because I just want him to drive. Gonna add some more clutter over here on this side. He should be coming up. I see him back there. And he is doing 45. Just a lot of containers heading north. It's a pretty sizable train. It's about 44.56 in length. I know he'll have a slowdown coming up soon. He's got a 35, which is fine, as long as he doesn't do 15 again, because I've seen him do that. But he is going to be entering the siding, technically. But once he gets up here, we'll just go ahead and take manual control, because he will be entering... Yeah, he's already set for the siding. So he's going to be taking the siding. And then he's going to cross over. Already get him lined in, since he is early-ish. We'll get him set up to come into the yard. I don't know if I should move him yet, because what's going to happen, he's just going to come right in. So we're actually just going to leave him there. we're going to throw him straight into the arrival track. Which, depending on how long he is, will dictate exactly if we need to throw that switch open. But he's also losing some cars to the rear, which we're just going to shove into this third track. So he's slowing down for the 35. He shouldn't be too much longer. So he is, yeah, he's not too much further out. So we'll wait up until he gets here. And then this guy, Dave. Now, what's Dave doing? I might take Dave manually. So I'm gonna take full control, run him notch 8, and we're just gonna go ahead and pound up the grade with this trash train and see what it is that's exactly causing it. So if I were to go right, so the next signal turns to 15, so that's the problem, is when it goes into the siding. But here it's no big issue. So it's something to do with that siding. Of course, now that I took it manual, we're losing speed. Jesus, all that horsepower and helpers in the rear, and we're losing speed. That's crazy. Well, the speed limit's 45. We might be doing 15 anyways. That's crazy. We probably could have used an extra helper. Maybe just a shorter trash train. Oof, he is a struggling. Yeah, not gonna matter. We're gonna be doing 15 anyways. That's crazy to me. Just considering. We're not even close yet, Jesus. Should be rolling around that bend any second. Any second. Still losing speed. That is amazing. He's a-coming oh so slowly. Shorter trash train, yeah. Ask people to make less trash. Hey, y'all, we need a shorter train. Can you make less trash? Hey, the Carrabassett is struggling to get up the grades. Can you just not make as much trash, please? Well, there's your problem. We have a barn on this train, and those don't have horsepower worth of shit. Let's just take a gander real quick. 8,260 tons. There's actually some pretty big trains that are rolling through. Of course, it looks a little funny because we don't have textures or trees down, but do think I hear the helpers starting to come up the hill behind it. Love that K. Oh yeah, no, that's a good K5. Here comes the helper screaming up the grade. That's a good sound. One reason we like the Bassett. Those roaring EMDs. Just one more time for the kids back home. Which we should be picking up speed at this point now, yeah, because we're on the downhill. Which I'll AI it again, so he just picks up some insane speed. Should be Audis, I would think, because that's his model. Oh, excuse me, why are you slowing down? Speed up. Yeah, that's a big boy, Jesus. Which, the other one should be rolling into the siding. Yeah, that's fine, doing 15 into the siding. Really taking your time to get back up to speed there, friend. Let's go. Want to see this thing roar by the crossing. It's always cool seeing a big, fast EMD with tons of weight just come screaming by. So we'll get him situated, or we'll get him by the crossing, and then we'll go ahead and pull the other train into the yard. All this guy will have to do is switch over to track 2 and drop its helpers. I will say this certain stretch of track does provide some great rail fanning opportunities. Here he comes. He is going to be roaring down the hill. Oh yeah, he's a-coming. I see his headlight. He's a-coming. Get ready for more K5 experience. Boo, he's slowing down again. Well, it's because he had yellow, because of the other train slowing down, heading into the siding. Ah, boo, we don't get him flying by. Lame. Lame, boo, hiss, 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 boo. I believe this is actually part of the Appalachian Trail. Or maybe it was this one. It's one of those two. I always forget which one it is. Alright, let's get back to work. Let's go pull the, not the guy. We're going to pull this guy in. So we have a signal. I do love me some signal. The signal of which we have, though, is medium approach slow, which certainly means something. I'm going to go with it means we have a medium approach and we need to go slow. How slow is certainly the question. Are we fully in the siding? We are fully in the siding. Alright, well, that's helpful information. So we have a red, but I believe that's a restricting, so we're going to just kind of crawl through at 10. Never noticed the grass that sits in the water. I like that. Pretty true to form. 2 SD50Ms. Not in the world. Wrong button. So these SD70s that are leading are former Conrail units, actually. So those are up to Conrail spec. We actually want to say the SD70s are some of the only units that we ordered outright, because the Carrabassett does actually have ones that we ordered to our spec. Have a good night, Odin. Take care. I don't remember how many exactly we ordered to our spec. So 2000 2003 delivered in May of 2000. Then 2004 to 2007 delivered in January of 01. Only new locomotives ordered by the CBVR. Ever. The only new locomotives we have ever ordered in our entire history. Everything else has come to us secondhand from somewhere. And of course, at the time, it made the most sense because we don't need new engines. I mean, we do, but we don't. Actually, wait, I'll just hold this at notch 1. We don't need brand spanking new units. We can get by with secondhand just fine. And there comes Dave crawling in. So looking at the car tags, so LMCP, LMCP, so that's BB Suckery, FOL, that's Fontaine Incorporated. Then we have WWB, BBB, that's BB Suckery again, that's WWB. That is Warwick Manufacturing. That is, I think this is where our cars begin. Yeah, so this is for Dead River here on the Stratton branch. That's for Yadake and Gravel, and that's for the Arnold Lumber Company. So from that car back, oh, and Kibby Wind Farm. So we have a wind farm train, or a wind farm, something we can drop off there. But we do have cars as of that center beam on back that are coming off. So pretty much this train's going to pull all the way through. It's actually going to pull up past. He's going to pull up past. And they're going to reattach those. No, they're over there. The wood chip cars. They're going to attach to the rear end of this train to complete the Megantic run. And while they're doing that, this train's going to pull in. Or did not load in? Oh, yeah, it didn't load in. So he's going to pull in to Megantic Yard. To which I need to look on the map and see exactly what is here. Bigelow Sub, Flagstaff, Yard, Main, North. So that is what we're going to have him aim towards. So drive to track marker, Bigelow Sub, Flagstaff, Yard. I'm going to pause you real quick. Flagstaff, Yard, Main, North. So while he's doing that, please stop a little quicker. I'm actually surprised that most of this train fit. Alright, so he's going to dim his lights. So what's going to happen with this other train that's coming through is they're just basically going to pull up. They're going to go to the end. The helpers are going to cut off. That train's going to leave. And then they're going to go about their merry way. So what's going to happen here now is we're going to go and lob these off. Oh wait, wrong cars. No one's driving those helpers, which is upsetting. So we're going to take you, Tom. Oh. Tom, you failed me, buddy. We're going to come back to here. And Tom is going to move to here. So that train's coming through now. So what we're going to do is grab these cars. there goes the trash train. And all we're going to do is just push it into track 3. Only real time you're ever going to see a six axle switching up here. Alright, so those helpers are going to keep going a little further up the line. They're going to disconnect. These helpers are done their service for the day, as well as those. Oh, perfect. Exactly where those belong. Oh, wrong way. Alright, and pretty much straight over to there. And the 4-axle will come in, throw that on the back, and we'll get out of here. Oh, where are we going? That's why you check your switches, folks. Love my SD50Ms. Love the sound of the bass just... Alright, so there is that. The other train should have stopped where it needed to. Just try the switch, of course. It's a big, big train. And of course, with the grade coming up, these helpers probably would have stayed on, and there would have been more power on this train. We're just going to give you the red for now. So we're going to put someone on here real quick that can very professional. Okay. So drive via track mark. So we're going to have to go Bigelow, Chain of Ponds south, Bigelow, Chain of Ponds north, so he doesn't try and cut through any industries on the way up, like Kibby Wind Farm. I hate it that it just doesn't click sometimes. And we're gonna need Hathen Bog, but it's supposed to be Caribou Bog, Main north. We need Bigelow Border. Border Main north. Could you just please give me the track marker? And then we'll be Frontenac holdout, siding. There. Now, before that gets going, I'm going to wrap it up here. So next stream, which will be Tuesday at this point, we're going to go ahead and run the Kingfield turn. Like I said, we already blocked it all the way out. And that's all set to go. But what we're going to do first before we do the Kingfield turn is we're going to, I'm actually going to pause it and save before I forget, because watch, it'll crash now that I'm doing my outro. So all we have to do is take quickly the wood chip cars, throw them on the rear of this train, let the trash train go, get the helpers into the helper track, dispatch this train northward toward Megantic. He's going to wait here for about 15-20 minutes before he goes to give enough spacing. I'll probably just throw him on Frontenac Main north, or I'll have him holding the border crossing. We're going to pull the sappy cars over to here and just get them in the local yard. And then all we have to do is just attach to the front of this train, take it southward. And then, of course, along the way, like I said, I'll show you just real quick so you get an understanding. I'm going to plop these cars in just so that way I don't forget, because, again, I will forget. And there's already supposed to be 2 of them here. Oh, I meant to type in 52. There we go. So yeah, there should have already been 2 cars up here, and they're pretty much going to be filled with trash. Wherever that load is, there it is. So we're just going to go full. And that was for CBG. Oh, excuse you. There we go. So all we have to do is on the way by, heading south, stop the train, take off the 2 guns, pull forward, back them up, park them here, reattach, and we go. And then we keep rolling south to where we'll end up in Kingfield, which again is down here. So we'll come down into Kingfield along the main, and we'll pull into the Kingfield branch, or the Kingfield Industrial branch, KIB. And all we have to do is come in here and just start working the cars, which these technically would be empty. So this is... Again, you can see I wasn't using my car tags then. But this is Jordan Lumber down here. This is Arc Enterprises up over here, which they don't have a tanker, but so there's 2 Gons up here. We do have a runaround on both ends of the branches because of how it's situated. This is the Mafka. I'm just going to load them up because that's what would have already happened. And this is... Sure, we'll just load it with that. I don't think that's actually what's getting loaded in there, but sure. Come across the branch. This is New England Wire down over here. Poland Spring is straight back this way. Which, yeah, there's only 3 boxcars up here, so we'll have to get some of course the script is faulty. But that's where these are. So there's some boxcars here for Poland Spring, and then down this way is Valley Gas and Oil, which apparently they had a propane car down here, which they do